Hello, welcome back to the breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a breaking news report coming out regarding Ukraine to share with all of you, and we're also going to talk about U.S. President Donald Trump in today's video, as I've got more information on some details on how this war could potentially come to an end. So take a look at this wild report here on your screen. Trump admin weighs recognizing Crimea as Russia in bid to end war. Administration officials have also discussed the possibility of having the U.S. urge the United Nations to do the same. Such a request would align the Trump administration with the position of Putin. Okay, so a very crazy report today, and I'm sure this may upset a lot of you that could be major supporters of Ukraine. But it does look like the Trump administration could possibly be weighing recognizing Crimea as Russian territory to try to end this war. Now, we do know tomorrow Trump and Putin are supposed to be holding a phone call, most likely in the morning, and we heard that they could be discussing territorial concessions and also discussing who's going to be taking control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. So we don't have all the details of that phone call yet, but we'll probably hear about that tomorrow. But this is a pretty crazy story coming out, and yet again, another show that looks like U.S. President Donald Trump is more leaning towards maybe benefiting Russia in some major ways. And obviously, Crimea was taken from Ukraine in 2014, illegally annexed by Russia. So this is basically Trump going around the whole international law and basically stating that it's okay for Russia to do this, to invade Ukraine and take it over. But at the same time, he's trying to do whatever he can to end the war. So there's definitely two sides to it. But let's jump into this. I'm going to show you guys a report here just briefly from Semaphore. Trump weighs recognizing Crimea as Russian territory in bid to end the war. This just coming out today, March 17th, 2025. And it says right down here, the Trump administration is considering recognizing Ukraine's Crimea region as Russian territory as part of any future agreement to end Moscow's war on Kiev, according to two people familiar with the matter. Administration officials have also discussed the possibility of having the U.S. urge the United Nations to do the same. According to both people, such a request would align the Trump administration with the position of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has long seen Crimea as his nation's territory. The administration's previously unreported openness to those options comes as Trump prepares for a Tuesday call with Putin, who, with a potential 30-day ceasefire deal on the table. Trump told reporters Sunday evening aboard Air Force One that negotiators had already discussed dividing up certain assets. Okay, so I actually showed you guys that this morning. That Trump, while he was speaking on Air Force One, I couldn't show you the video, unfortunately, because the video had like very low sound quality. But he allegedly told reporters that they were working on that right now, dividing up certain assets between Russia and Ukraine. Who's going to get control of what? What part of territories may Ukraine give up? What part of territories could Russia give up? The whole Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant situation. So it also says right here, Trump has not formally made any decisions, and the possible Crimea moves are two of a multitude of options being floated as his administration pushes for an end to the war. The White House declined to comment. In a statement to Semaphore after publication of the story, National Security Council spokesman Brian Hughes said that the administration has made no such commitments and we will not negotiate this deal through the media. Just 2 weeks ago, both Ukraine and Russia were miles apart on a ceasefire agreement. We are now closer to a deal thanks to the leadership of President Trump. The goal remains the same: stop the killing and find a peaceful resolution to this conflict, Hughes added. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about this, because we've been hearing a lot recently from Vladimir Zelensky and also many top officials of the Ukrainian government that they were not okay with recognizing any of the territories that Russia has taken as Russian territory, that they would always consider them Ukrainian territory. And in case you guys haven't seen anything like that, I wanted to briefly show you this clip of Vladimir Zelensky. It was literally just 5 days ago on the 12th. And this is from open source intel. Zelensky says that Ukraine will not recognize any land under Russian occupation. So I would assume that even includes Crimea. So, if you notice, like, Russia's making all these demands. Ukraine's got their own red lines. Russia's got some as well. Then we've got the U.S. in the background thinking about basically crossing over Ukraine's red lines here as well, where they're saying, hey, we will not recognize any of these territories as Russian territory, even if the U.S. were to come out and declare that Crimea is now Russian territory. Looks like Ukraine's not open to that as well, so it's definitely going to create a headache and it's going to make it difficult for negotiations. So let me show you this clip here real quick, 54 seconds long.
Щодо червоних ліній, я як президент і українці, як громадяни своєї країни, не будуть порушувати свою конституцію, будуть захищати суверенітет і нашу незалежність, захищаючи наших людей і нашу землю. Нам дуже непросто проти такого ворога битись, це зрозуміло. Але сьогодні ми воюємо за нашу незалежність. І тому визнавати будь-які окуповані території Російською Федерацією ми не будемо. Це факт. Наші люди били за це. Наші герої гинули. Скільки поранених, скільки всього пройшло. Тому ніхто про це забувати не буде. І коли я кажу, що ніхто про це забувати не буде, це найголовніша червона лінія. Ми нікому не дамо забути про цей злочин проти України. Щодо червоних
Okay, so you can see here he's claiming they would never recognize any territories as Russian territory, that, this is part of their sovereignty and their territorial integrity. His job as a president is to make sure they ensure that sovereignty for their nation. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, you guys let me know what you think on this. Pretty crazy story that the U.S. is coming out and thinking about that. But at the same time, Ukraine most likely is not going to be able to take back Crimea anytime soon militarily. They're obviously still struggling on the front line. So, with regards to a lot of these territories, whether it be Zaporizhia, Kherson, Luhansk, or even the Donetsk regions, we're going to have to see what happens here in terms of dividing up territories and all that. I'm sure the U.S. will come out with their own proposal, and Ukraine will have to agree to that at some point, and so will Russia. So just let me know what you guys think about all this. How do you feel about the U.S. coming out and announcing that they may try to recognize Crimea as Russian territory, basically taking it away from Ukraine, handing it over to Russia? And many people would maybe say that also this is the U.S. handing Russia a gift as well and giving this territory over to them and rewarding them for attacking Ukraine to begin with. So obviously, a lot of questions to be asked here, so I'm curious what you guys think about this whole situation, and how do you think this war is going to come to an end? Do you think this will benefit the war coming to an end, or make it worse when it comes to this proposal of Crimea becoming part of Russia? So let me know what you guys think down below. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.